Hey guys, so it's Zara for Trans Youth, of course. Um, yeah, I know it's Monday, but tomorrow I have to work, so I'm gonna cover last week, and I'm gonna do what I believe the topic is this week. So, because it's just what was talked about. Yeah. So, and I know I look absolutely disgusting today. I basically just woke up and didn't worry about looking good today because I don't really have anything else to do. So, I don't care. Um, yeah. So, so you may or may not know me and Kip actually live well, not too far from each other. We both live around Toronto. He's like from Guelph, I guess, and I am from Oshawa. So he lives kind of that way while I live over this way, pretty much. And the city is like right here in the middle. Um, so probably the I'm not going to be discussing the same kind of a trans group, I guess, that he was. But still, if you are in the Toronto area, then I guess we're both here to help you. Um, it's funny though, because me and him still haven't actually met in person, but I'm sure it'll happen. Um, so yeah, that was last week's topic is kind of help out in your area, groups that you know about that you can kind of give to the viewers. So yeah, whatever. If you're in the Toronto area, I'll give you this one. It's the one that I used when I guess was, I don't know, earlier in my transition. Yeah, these are coming off. Um, you may have heard about it. It's pretty common. Well, not common. I guess it's one of the more well-known ones. So you probably already know it, but still, I used it myself, and it really helped me. Um, it's called Gender Journeys, and it's basically just like a support group for trans people. Um, you, I think it would last maybe 2 or 3 months, and you would go there once a week for 2 or 3 hours for like those 3 months, and they would teach you a lot about how your life would be as a trans person, and yeah, a lot of the things you would have to go through, etc., etc. When I'm not sure if it's the same guys running it now, but when I did it, it was Rupert and Ambrose, and both were trans men themselves. So they helped out a lot, and they get that like a lot of trans people really are living in not great situations. So they would even have like food there, um, just little plates of like cut cucumbers and cute little stuff like that. Just in case there's anyone who really doesn't get a meal very often or anything like that, because sometimes that's the situation. Um, and I did that group and I loved it. I made a lot of friends there, even though I haven't really talked to any of them lately. But I made a bunch of friends there. Um, and yeah, just the group was so helpful. That was when I was really early in transition. Um, it was between my basically coming out. Like, I, a little bit of background. I was already full time, basically, maybe even up to almost a year before I even started my HRT. So maybe about 2 years ago, I was a full time trans woman. I think that sounds about right. Yeah, because I originally moved to Toronto April of 2 years ago, I believe, and then that was when I went full time. That was when I got my job in Toronto and everything. So so about 2 years ago, I was full time trans woman, and then I've been on my hormones for a year. What month is it? It's April now, so 16 months I've been on my hormones now, something like that. But yeah, so this I when I did this group was in between there. Maybe it would have been October of 2010, I think. I don't know, but a while ago. So again, it might not be the same people running it. The group may have changed in certain ways. Hopefully not, because I loved it so much. And they would help you in so many ways. Like, they would teach you basically everything you need to know about trans. Not just, like, the things you'd be facing as a trans person and all that, but they even give you, like, a history dating back a bajillion years about trans people in different cultures and all this really cool stuff. And it's amazing. And you meet people. So, there's no downside to it. It's in Toronto. It's in the Sherbourne Health Centre, which is pretty close to the village. Not in the village. I don't know the name of this park, but there is a park right across the street from it. And actually also down the street from it, there is a good store that a lot of drag queens go to. It's like a cross-dressing store. And that's where I originally went to get those triple-strength memory pills that I was taking before I started my HRT. Yeah, so if you're a Torontonian, you might know all this stuff. You might want to know all this stuff. So there you go. And if you're not from Toronto, this video probably won't help you very much. But yeah, Gender Journeys. I will post something about it. I'll try to find something, like some information on how you could get into it. And you should definitely check it out. Also, I'm sure you know of the 519 if you're someone who's LGBT in Toronto. I'm sure you know what the 519 is. I did a group there for a while, and it was helpful, but definitely, like, I think it's more for the younger crowd. Yeah, I remember it vaguely because it was years ago, like, when I originally moved to Toronto. And, yeah, so years ago. Yeah, it's more of a youth LGBT group, so I prefer Gender Journeys because, I mean, well, yeah. But there's that, too. And, yeah. So, I'll try and find some information for this stuff. Oh, and also, that group is how I originally got my prescription for my hormones. Once I finished that group, it was like 2 weeks later that I started my HRT. Because the guy who runs the group, or at least ran the group back then, Rupert, he was able to, like, write prescriptions, I guess. So he's like a doctor. And he wrote my prescription, and ever since I've been on HRT. Because I guess he's like a qualified therapist or something, so he counts. And he knew me, he knew I'm an awesome person. So yeah, that's how I got my HRT. So, it's pretty awesome. Okay, I spent 8 minutes talking about that, so topic number 2, I'll try and kind of cut it shorter. Being trans and being in the court system. It's funny because I know a lot more about American law than about Canadian law, because recently I've been reading the books of John Grisham. You might know him. He's an awesome author. He's my mom's favorite author, and she got me to read his books. So I've read maybe 6 of his books now, and I'm starting to pick up bits and pieces about how the court system works. But again, this is all American court system, and it's funny because I'm Canadian. I don't know shit about Canada law. Whatever. I can't assume it's too different, though. Like, it's probably relatively similar. So, yeah. I don't know what you'd really do. Like, the first book I read of his was A Time to Kill. And in that book, well, I don't know. Read it. Because it's a good book. These 2 thuggy little rednecky white kids rape and almost kill this little black girl, and the girl's dad, in a rage, kills kills the people who raped his little girl. So this was back in what year was it? I think it was early 70s in the book when this happened. And basically the book is about, in the book, they deal with discrimination and the fact that he's black, so he should be on death row because he did this and he's a black guy who did it to white guys. And if it were reversed and the white father killed the black rapists, then he would be like congratulated, like, yay, you killed these guys. Whatever, racism's bad. I kind of feel like that's what is trans. Like, you're just a trans person. Whatever, we don't care about you. What you should do, I think, is try to find a lawyer who specifies in this shit, because I'm sure there is. I've never had to deal with anything law-related myself, really. I've never been in trouble or anything. So, yeah. I really don't have any law experience other than reading John Grisham's books. But just try to find yourself a good lawyer. And the opposition is going to try and use the fact that you're trans against you, because they realize that we are still discriminated against strongly, and by them making a point that you're trans, it may in fact make the jury be against you. So it may make the jury want to vote for the what's the word? I don't even remember right now. The other person. Is it defendant? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so they may try and do that, and it's wrong, and they shouldn't, but they do. So I would just try and find a good lawyer who can combat them, like some kind of LGBT lawyer, whatever the case is about. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you because I don't know so much about this stuff. But yeah. Okay, so I hope this video is helpful. It's probably really only helpful if you're a Toronto person, but, you know, whatever. So, this is Zara for Trans Youth, of course, and sorry for me looking so nasty today, but yeah. So, you guys better comment, subscribe, and if you have a topic that you want us to discuss, email it to transychannel@gmail.com.